Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is LuckyBunz, and in today's Pokemon Go video, I'm going to be going over how to prepare for Community Day in the best way possible. So this has been a highly requested video on the channel, so I wanted to make this more of a general guide. That way, for those of you watching this later on in the future, this will still be a relevant video for the most part. If there are any really big updates or changes, I'll probably just make an updated version to this guide. But hopefully, whether you're watching this for Gible Community Day or for something else in the future, you guys are still going to find these tips and tricks really valuable. So the first thing that we're going to talk about in this video is going to be Pokemon storage and how much you actually need for Calm Day. So I like to go off the 100 minimum and the 250 plus in an ideal situation. So of course, the more the merrier, the more to your benefit if you have more than 250 Pokemon storage, but at the very minimum, I really do recommend having at least 100 open slots for that entire time window. 100 is honestly going to be painful because you're going to catch Pokemon so fast, but anything less is just going to be torture. You're probably going to get shinies, you're probably going to get good IVs, and PvP IVs for that matter. So at the end of the day, if you have at least 100 minimum, you're going to be able to get through the day. You're not going to love it, but it's going to be manageable. And if you have over 250 plus, you're going to be in great shape. Now, I totally understand that for newer players, you're going to start with 300 Pokemon storage and 350 bag space. If you guys are struggling to figure out what to transfer, I do have a great guide in terms of Pokemon storage management. I'm going to link it in the top right corner. I'm a free-to-play player in Pokemon Go, so I totally understand how difficult it can be in the early stages of the game. But trust me guys, you just gotta be a little bit cutthroat. You only wanna keep what's gonna be ultimately useful for you in the long term. Anything else I would get rid of. With that being said though, on Pokemon storage management, let's go and talk about your bag management now. So ideally guys, you wanna have as many Pokeballs as you can possibly hold. If you have a Pokemon Go Plus or a Gotcha, your Gotcha or your Go Plus is going to be auto-catching hopefully throughout the day. So I understand some people are going to be able to go out and grind during Community Day, but let's say you can't go out and grind. Let's say you're stuck at work. But the spawns are still going to be coming through, and well, you can't really catch normally. You can still use your Go Plus or your Gotcha. By no means am I advocating to not work your job that you're getting paid for, but I'm saying that if you do want to catch some Pokemon, you can have your Go Plus running throughout the day, and so you do want to primarily focus on getting more red Pokeballs opposed to Great Balls and Ultra Balls. With that being said, if you are able to go out and enjoy Calm Day in the normal fashion, you know, walking around, then I would actually focus on getting more Great Balls and Ultra Balls. This is just going to increase your catch rate throughout the day, which is ultimately going to help you consistently catch more Pokemon and spend less time having to worry about that Pokemon catching. The red Pokeballs don't have the best catch rate, but again, it really just depends on your situation. The main focus here is Pokeballs, Great Balls, and Ultra Balls, regardless of how you're going to play throughout the day. You definitely do want to delete your potions, delete your revives. You're not going to really use them. I really would not recommend raiding throughout the day. Maybe you can keep like some, but I would delete most of them. I would get rid of your berries, go drop them in gyms somewhere, with the exception of Pinot Berries in case you want to use it for double candy, or Golden Raspberries if you actually run into a really high CP shiny and you want to almost guarantee that catch. Additionally, you probably have other items in your bag as well. For example, if you have rare candy that's just kind of taking up some space, I do have a rare candy guide in terms of what is the best to invest it into. I'm going to leave that in the top right corner right now. And again, this is just if you're really struggling with space. If you're not struggling that much with space, then I wouldn't worry about it too much. Again, guys, just really focus on your Pokeballs, Great Balls, and Ultra Balls. That's going to be the best way to ultimately stay grinding throughout the day. And if you end up running out, hopefully you do have some gifts from some friends, because that's going to also give you some more Pokeballs, Great Balls, and Ultra Balls respectively. But of course, you can only open 30 gifts a day, so make use of that. With that being said, let's move on over to our next thing, which is going to be incense. So many of you have honestly told me countless times on my post for Community Day that you only got a few spawns throughout the entire 6 hours because you didn't drop an incense. Guys, incense during Calm Days run for 3 hours off one. You know how much incense cost? 40 coins. That's literally less than what you would get from a day's worth of holding in a gym. Incense are honestly one of the cheapest things that you can buy in shop, and they last for 3 hours on Calm Days. Make sure that you're using them. Make sure that you're using at least 2 of them for that entire bonus. And in case you guys want to take advantage of bonus incense time when Calm Day actually starts, you can stack them up to 24 hours, which is insane. So that is going to be a lot more incense, but that is honestly going to be worth it if you do plan on grinding afterwards. On the last comm day for Swablu, I actually dropped 3 incense because I did want to grind the Luminous Legends X event afterwards, and that was totally worth it. Definitely was happy I dropped that extra incense. Again, you're basically getting 2 hours for free because of the comm day bonus, so really great opportunity to take advantage of in my opinion. And overall guys, if you do not have an incense, make it a priority to get an incense before comm day. Like out of everything I'm talking about in this video, make sure that you at least have 1 incense to grind for 3 hours, because that is going to be 180 guaranteed spawns. Even if you have nothing spawning at your house, you're going to get 180 guaranteed spawns, which I almost guarantee is going to be at least a few shinies. The shiny rate for the featured comm day Pokemon is 1 out of 25. Which is phenomenal. So you have really good odds. Make sure that you're dropping those incense. That being said though, star pieces and lucky eggs depending on the comm day bonus. So for Gible, it's going to be a triple catching experience. That's going to be an optional bonus that you can go for. I don't really use them myself. Like I may drop a lucky egg if I do feel pretty confident, like we have lures and stuff going and I can catch a ton of Gible. Then yeah, I would definitely drop a lucky egg. But for example, if you're free-to-play players and you don't have access to star pieces or lucky eggs currently, I wouldn't really worry about this too much. I know this is something that other YouTubers talk about on their channels. They're like, oh, get 6 star pieces ready, or sorry, 12 star pieces ready, right? Because they're 30 minutes each, or 12 lucky eggs ready for the entire event. And that's kind of overkill in my opinion. You'll probably end up just getting better XP from friendship bonuses, and for star pieces, I guess that's really just a hit or miss. You have to catch a lot of Pokemon to make it worth it, and most of the time, unless you're at a really good grind spot, it's going to be difficult to make that happen within 30 minutes. So those are always an optional one to me as a free-to-play player. Even with the bonus, I would just take advantage of the bonus by itself. You don't need to drop a lucky egg or a star piece. You totally could. It's honestly going to make your gains that much better, but at the same time, it may not be that accessible to you, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. So at this point in time, you have Pokemon storage covered. Hopefully you have enough going into comm day. You also have enough Pokeballs, Great Balls, and Ultra Balls respectively. Your bag is cleared of anything else, so you can really maximize the amount that you have stored. You're gonna have your incense ready, definitely have your incense ready, and then star pieces and lucky eggs are gonna be optional. Moving on over to our next segment now, let's talk about the fast catch trick and why you definitely need to utilize it, especially the AR version. So I recently just put out a video that actually goes over this, and if you guys don't understand what the fast catch trick is, or you have no idea what I'm talking about, I definitely recommend watching that video first. I'm gonna have it linked in the top right corner. This is gonna save you so much time. Most of you probably already know about this, and to be honest, you already understand why this saves you so much time. You're able to skip a decent amount of the animation. You skip the entire ball shaking animation, and if you're using the AR version, you're gonna skip the encounter screen. So yeah, it is incredibly useful, guys. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out the tutorial linked in the top right corner. With that being said though, let's move on over to our next topic here, which is going to be your comm day route. So this is really, really important, and most people do not take advantage of this, or at least do not understand the importance of this. So there essentially are 2 different loops that you have to pay attention to. First of all, if you're grinding in an area that has lures going, you're going to want to have a 5-minute loop. Basically, a loop is just like a walking circle or a driving circle or something along those lines. If you're in a place where you have a lot of lures, you want to loop around to the starting point, basically go from point A to point B to point C, back to point A, and then hopefully at that point, once you make it to point A again, it's going to have been 5 minutes. Now let's assume that you're not at a grind spot though, and you just have to focus on spawn points. So hunting down spawn clusters is a really great way to take advantage of Community Day. And this is going to take some time to figure out what are going to be good locations in your area. Usually like big parking lots are great for cluster spawns. And for this, you actually want to focus on a 30-minute loop rather than a 5-minute loop. So for lures, they spawn like every 3 minutes, I believe. So the great thing about this is that you can actually replenish your Pokeballs throughout your grinding session, because as you get back to point A, you can spin the Pokestop, get more Pokeballs again, do the same thing, 5-minute loop, 5-minute loop, 5-minute loop, and it's going to prolong your grind session, which is fantastic. For the spawn points, hopefully you just have a lot of Pokeballs saved up, because you're not going to be able to really grind through that many Pokestops, maybe a few every now and then. But overall, you're probably just going to be focusing on the spawns by itself. That could either lead to a shorter comm day for yourself or a longer one, depending on how prepared you're going into it with. And in my opinion, this is definitely one of the most important things to consider when going into Community Day, just because your route is everything. This is going to really determine how many Pokemon you're going to get throughout the day, whether you're focusing on lures or focusing on spawns. it's really just up to you. You know, it's really just up to you and what you have going on in your local area. If you live in a rural area, I'm sorry, I can't really tell you that much. You probably do have some cluster spawns around the area, or maybe you gotta drive into the city. So the next one is gonna be one that most people actually forget about, including myself. Do not complete any research tasks prior to Comm Day starting. So essentially, if you complete a research task, you won't be able to get the exclusive Comm Day research task, which may be a Pokemon encounter, it may be a shiny, or it may be items, like you may get Ultra Balls from it, or berries, or something along those lines. And this might honestly prolong your day just by having a few more Ultra Balls that you add to your inventory, or if you end up getting in some encounters, you may end up getting an extra shiny from it. I definitely have, so it is absolutely worth it. And again, it's really easy to forget about, guys. You know, most people just go in and they do the research tasks beforehand. Do not complete anything, do not get any research tasks until Comm Day starts. Once it starts, go through all the Pokestops and get their respective Comm Day research. The next one is going to be to check for good IVs periodically. So again, if you followed my advice earlier in terms of Pokemon storage, hopefully you have at least 250. So once your bag fills up, go ahead and check for good IVs, both for PvP and for raids. For raids, you can use the 3-star and 4-star filters to find out which ones are going to be really good, close to 100% IV. And then for PvP, I actually have a separate guide, which I'm going to link in the top right corner. I recommend watching that so you kind of understand why PvP IVs and raid IVs are going to be a little bit different. But if you have a decent idea going into Comm Day, this should be pretty easy to point out in terms of what you're looking for. And so once again, just go ahead and favorite everything. Don't worry about IV checking it specifically until the very end of the day. Focus on catching, make that your top priority, but just make sure that you are marking, you know, the ones that are going to be relevant or potentially relevant for you. And then you can just transfer everything else and rinse and repeat. And then of course at the end of Comm Day, you're going to have a 2-hour window to evolve with the exclusive moveset. That's always going to vary depending on the featured Pokemon. For Gible respectively, when it evolves into Garchomp, it is going to get the exclusive move Earth Power, which is fantastic. So, you know, focus your time during those 6 hours on catching and making sure that you're getting as much candy as possible. You're making sure that you are increasing your chances to get more shinies as well as potentially more good IVs. You never know, guys. You may end up running into a hundo if you just keep on catching throughout the day. It happens more often than you'd think. The next thing that I have for you guys is definitely going to be optional, but if you evolve a Mega Pokemon that is the same type of the Pokemon that's featured for Comm Day, you're actually going to get additional candy per catch. So depending on the Comm Day in the future, just make sure that it is going to be the same type of Pokemon. If it's a grass Pokemon that's featured, you can evolve Mega Venusaur. If it's also a poison type, that also works for Mega Venusaur too. The next one is also going to be another optional thing that you can do. This is actually a great way to get extra large candy though if you are level 40 or higher. Trading. I know it sounds so simple, but trading is really, really great, guys. This is definitely a great one to utilize if you do have a trading partner locally. I totally understand that most of you probably don't. I honestly don't anymore. I used to have people that I would trade with at the end of Comm Days, but they all kind of do their own thing now, and I guess it is what it is, not that big of a deal. But it is going to be to your advantage if you can find a trade partner, or if you have an alt account. I'm not saying you should have an alt account, but if you do, more power to you, to be honest. This is a great way to farm extra large candy, regular candy, and hopefully even get better IVs on some of your Pokemon, which you may end up getting some hundos, maybe even some lucky hundos. And then finally, the last tip that I have for you guys is honestly the best one and the most important. Have fun. I know it sounds super generic, but seriously guys, just have fun with it. Comm Days are supposed to be about the community, and honestly, it's supposed to be about you just having a great time. You don't even have to play throughout the entire 6 hours if you don't want to. You can literally wake up whenever you feel like it, go out and grind. It's actually what I personally do. I don't actually play Comm Days at the very start at 11. I usually just kind of take my mornings very simple, mainly because I do a lot of my video making at night, so I do sleep in a little bit during the day. But at the end of the day, you really do just have so much time, and you know, playing through 6 hours is fantastic, but realistically, you probably just need like 4, maybe 5, and that's pretty good. Some people only get like an hour or 2 to play, sometimes even less time. They gotta play on their lunch breaks because they have work. If possible, you know, try and get the day off work in advance. You know, I know some people, they are able to schedule that out. Some people can't. And again, like I mentioned earlier with the Go Plus, if you can't schedule out of work, maybe at the very least you can have your Go Plus running throughout the day. It's not gonna bother anybody, it's just gonna be buzzing in your pocket, but you know, maybe that actually would bother some people depending on your job. But you guys get my point here. try to make the best of your situation. If you can get a day off work or you can get that time off work, more power to you. If you can't, well, you can use a Go Plus and try to make the best of things. Additionally, I also recommend getting good sleep, taking breaks throughout the day. You don't have to grind for 6 hours straight. Take breaks, guys. Grab some food, grab some water. And if you're grinding outside, put on some sunscreen. My goodness, you need to put on some sunscreen. Very, very important, especially if you're in the States and you're in California like me. It's getting hot these days. It is definitely a marathon throughout the day, so make sure that you are taking those breaks, whether or not you're driving, walking, skateboarding, biking. Doesn't matter, guys. Make sure that you do take periodic breaks throughout your grind, and yeah, just grab some food, grab some water, put on some sunscreen, get some good sleep the night before, and you'll be good to go. I've played through every single calm day, and this is essentially what I do every single time. I mean, you guys always see my results. I get a ton of shinies, I get a ton of really good IVs, and if you want to mimic what I'm doing, this is how you do it. So that being said, guys, as always, if you could hit that like button before you leave the video, I'd really appreciate it. Subscribe if you want to see more of these videos in the future, and I will see you all real soon in the next one. Also, good luck on calm day.